Hello and welcome to Now in Zen. Today we have on Gordon Wery, aka XENPILLED, composer extraordinaire, legendary streamer, and he's kind of hosting a little Zen cast of his own. This guy is on the grind. He is streaming almost every night about Zen. It's truly incredible to see, just racking up the videos and really into just the pure craft of it. So we're really glad to have him on the show. So welcome, Gordon.
Hello, Steven. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. I'd love to start by asking just sort of what first got you into Zen and what your early influences have been.
I can't remember exactly when I first encountered microtones in Zen, but one of the earliest experiences I had with it that really kind of made an impression on me was my buddy sent me a Now in Zen episode where you were interviewing Zia, a rose.
Oh, no way!
And we were geeking out over that. We just thought that was the coolest. I was kind of surprised and amazed how much there is to this microtonal thing, how much y'all had to talk about in terms of I don't know, just different harmonies and tunings. And before I got into this stuff, I kind of felt like I had done a lot of exploring, because I play piano. I've been playing piano since I was 15, and I felt like I'd tried so many different chords and scales, and I was even getting into those synthetic scales and stuff, and where the harmony doesn't repeat every octave and stuff like that. I mean, Jacob Collier talks about that stuff, the scales that just go up they repeat every fifth instead of
the hyper super dinky Dorian Haba Hula scale, of course.
Yeah, that's the most famous example. But yeah, I was doing stuff like that, and I mean, not exclusively, but I guess the point being, I felt like I was at this point where I was really having to try really hard to find anything interesting harmonically. And so the microtonal things seemed really appealing in that way, because it's not I don't know, it's not hard to find anything.
Yeah.
There's just so much to do with harmony. I mean, melody too, of course, but yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of stuff I had heard early on too was not, I don't know, it wasn't really my style necessarily, but I think the first, I heard Mercury Tree's album, Spider Milk.
Oh, great album.
And that was the first time I heard an album, and I was like, oh man, this is something I wish I was doing. This is something I want to do. And yeah, I just listened to that album a lot, and because of that, I kind of started getting into, because of Mercury Tree and Zia, and I was getting into 17 equal stuff and trying out different primordial scales and stuff, just retuning my keyboard, and joined the Facebook groups, and I was on, I mean, I'm still on that Facebook group, and yeah.
It sounds like your journey is really similar to mine, and I don't know if you've heard of the term paucitonality. I think it could be either a Margot Schulter or Jacob Barton term, referring to the idea that you've been inherited a tuning system, from your culture, and there's just not enough notes to give it the kinds of possibilities you want.
I see.
It's definitely a feeling that I had, and a feeling that you've had, and a feeling that many other people have had. And I think when you talk about this, like I did many years ago, I'm so reminded of just what a heroic act it is to actually put anything really microtonal together with these alternatively built instruments. Just how much effort it takes, and how much it inspires other people to say, oh, I want to do that. Because it's easy to forget that. But then, people keep getting inspired down the line, and it takes a long time for that to grow, but it's really worth it, like ripples in a small pond, I suppose.
Yeah, I think part of the reason I got involved now instead of maybe before I did was because it is getting easier, over time. Software synths have tuning support and stuff like that, and we have Scale Workshop, and also there's so many resources your podcast and Savage's tutorials, and a lot of cool videos on microtonality. I think if I had started earlier, it would have been too much of a like the stuff that you and Elaine have done with like a lane walker. I've done with like building your own keyboards and stuff. There's no way I would do anything that involved. Like,
Right.
I would not have the patience for that. And I think that's part of the reason I got involved when I did, was because of that kind of ease of access and the resources. And that continues to improve too. Like more and more like synths you can retune, and just more people are playing with this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I really admire like you guys, and even if you go further back, like Harry Parch,
Yeah, the king.
like had to like build all his own instruments, and
Yeah.
the Ziggy, is that how you say they were?
Syzygies. Syzygies.
Yeah, Syzygies. I can't remember her name, but she like built that organ. That's just like so amazing to me.
I think Hiromi, maybe. No, it's truly heroic. And it's also very born of individuals, right? Like, it seems like a lot of microtonalists, as has been said on this podcast before, are very online in order to reach out. And I think, that's due to it being difficult to find people in your local area that have the same interest, as well as the idea that, like, if you just have some ideas of your own, you can accomplish a lot. So like a lot of the things that you mentioned, like Scale Workshop, building your own keyboards, very like born of a certain person's desire to do something weird and different. And yeah, I think the redone pianos definitely feel like they are part of a different era. I didn't realize that until maybe about last year. I still prefer playing on them compared to the Lumiton, though, for smaller tunings. I wonder if you've been on... Were you on the Facebook groups in their heyday, I wonder? Because I feel like Facebook has slowed down a lot, and now all the chatter is on Discord. But maybe Facebook is, like, polluting my algorithm with a bunch of nonsense. I've been reflexively and disingenuously over-liking Engine Day Poitrine memes, so that I'll see more things about microtonality, but I keep just seeing things about them, which is fine.
I did see a video where this guy, just like some guy took zip ties to his bass just to do Engine Day Poitrine stuff. And it was like a pretty popular video, so...
Yeah.
Well, I do think, I mean, I've only been on the Facebook group for like 5 years, but it has calmed down a lot.
Yeah, because I feel like there were certain theorists there who were very active and quite knowledgeable, who maybe even knew how to interpret such things as Gene Ward Smith's mathematical articles. And now they've all, like, moved on with their lives.
Yeah.
So...
there were a few people in particular that I really valued, like, a lot of their, like, posts and stuff on there.
Yeah.
And it was like Paul Ehrlich and Mike Battaglia and Deja Iglesian.
Those are the exact three people I was thinking about.
Yeah, like they always shared really quality stuff, and like if Deja like shared a scale or something, I would just load it up on a synth and start messing with it.
Oh, that's
like,
great.
Yeah, like anything Deja posted, I was like, and back then too, it was really cool because I kind of miss when I understood very little of the lingo and stuff, because
right.
I don't know, it was so neat, like reading these conversations and having like such a vague understanding, like everybody's talking in all these fractions and stuff. And now that I like know what the fractions mean and all that, I have so many like opinions about everything, and I don't know, it's a way different, you end up with a different feeling after you kind of get over that initial learning curve. But I don't know, it's very cool to like just feel that like, I don't know, almost overwhelming sense of like confusion, and I don't know, you're like surrounded by these enlightened microtonal masters, you know.
Oh yeah, you can't. The confusion elements can't be talked about enough. They're just really great aesthetically. I feel like it's so hard to come up with something in 12-tone equal temperament where it's like you wouldn't know what it is and you couldn't figure it out. But in microtonality, there are a million ways to do that. There's so many ways to confuse the listener, and of course on an intellectual level as well. The theory can be confusing as well. I wonder who knows the most about regular temperament theory right now, like in the world.
Yeah, definitely not me.
Yeah, definitely not me. Too crazy. I wonder, after you've spent some time in these tunings, figured out what you've wanted to do, what kind of tunings do you think you want to write in? Do you favor particular tunings? What are sort of your goals there?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time kind of like messing around with different stuff, and a neat thing about doing the live stream is that people come in and like they wanna hear me play with their favorite tuning, and they want to
Yeah.
talk about what they're excited about, and so you learn like so much, like because I'm not gonna think of everything, so like if some like so I've demoed like so many different tunings by recommendation, and a lot of like equal divisions and some like just intonation scales and this and that and the other. I do have some preferences, but it did take me a while to like figure out what they are. But I really like 22 equal is one of my
Yeah.
favorites. 27 equal is another one. Notably, like Brendan Burns, I'm a huge fan of his music. He's done a lot in both of those tunings. And lately, I'm really into 34 equal.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
They all have sharp leaning fifths compared to 12 equal, and also compared to like a purely tuned fifth, like a 3-2 ratio. And so they have sort of similar properties. And one thing I really like about them is thinking about it like a diatonic scale. If you're in a mean tone system, a diatonic scale is sort of straightforward. It's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you're in C, it'd be C major scale. But if you play those same notes like in 22 or 27 or 34, you get like a major scale, but it sounds like the major chords are like a little, almost like pushing in towards like a sus chord. And you want to like lower that third by an Edo step to get the good major chords. So you end up with these, some people call them nice tone scales, or they're sometimes called Zarlino. After I think the guy who invented this scale in just intonation or something. But you end up with these nice tone scales that you can use, at least the way I like to use these tunings. You can use them interchangeably a lot with the just the normal diatonic scale, the one that's a little too sharp. And it's such a basic thing, and it's almost like, I mean, it's almost like right next door to vanilla even, because it's like it's just diatonic stuff. But I'm sort of like really interested in that, just like playing with that, switching between the 5L2S chain of fifths diatonic and the nice tone, and sort of interweaving those. But yeah, you can do that in all three of those tunings.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, actually, when you say that, your approach kind of reminds me of Grounds, someone else from the Discord.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're kind of creating a space for yourself where there's a selected group of tunings that have characteristics that you admire after figuring out those preferences, and then you want to work in those tunings, with those preferences in mind to create the music that you like.
Yeah, I didn't really like seek them out based on those characteristics though. When I was messing around with different tunings, I noticed I really liked those tunings.
Yeah.
And it started with 22. I spent the most time with 22. And most of my microtonal music, maybe like half of it is in 22 equal, and then the other half is just like in other tunings.
Yeah.
But 27 is really similar to 22 structurally, but also like, I don't know, I really like the sound.
Yeah.
And then 34, I've always loved the sound of like just the basic major and minor triads. It just sounds so good to me. I've got a Lumitone now, but I really loved 34 even before I could like play it comfortably or do much with it comfortably. It's hard to play like on the Linnstrument.
Yeah.
Linnstrument's a little too small for it. But yeah, since I've been like messing with it on the Lumitone and everything, I don't think too much about what I'm looking for. It's more just like if I keep going back to it because it feels good. And then whatever it is that feels good, I look back and I analyze it kind of after the fact. And that's the thing where I'm like, oh, these all have this thing in common. I clearly have a preference for this style of thing.
Right. It's sort of something you realize afterwards. I think that approach can be a little bit like mine in some way. Like, I find myself gravitating towards 19 and 15 similarly. And I wonder to what extent this is influenced by the instruments that you have and would want to play on, because I also gather that you're a little bit like me and that you'd like to be able to play the things that you make, which not all people want to do.
Yeah, I do prefer to. Although I have like been getting into like producing stuff in a DAW. I do want to get better at that too. But honestly, I don't know how much I would get into that if it weren't for like microtonality and it just being really convenient in that format.
Right. Absolutely. When you hear that there's such and such tuning system in the music that you listen to, does that influence how much you want to try the tuning? Like, maybe if there's a tuning you didn't like very much and you heard somebody play it and you liked what you heard, you'd give it a second chance, or...
I have done that, absolutely. And that's happened enough where I kind of feel like my preferences for what I like to write in don't really correspond with my preferences for what I like to listen to or enjoy, you know?
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, I feel like they're different. Because, I mean, yeah, they definitely are different. But, like, a 13 equal, like, when I was first messing around, I was retuning my Juno DS, Roland keyboard. I set it up in 13 equal. Mm-hmm. And I could not get into that. Like, I couldn't stand the way it sounded. It was just, like, too dissonant and crazy. And I think I'm pretty open-minded where I kind of, like, try to find the challenging tunings and stuff, but 13 was just, like, it was too much for me. But then I heard this, it was off the Staffcirc album.
Oh!
There's Limeboiler. It was the person who made the track, and I think it's called How to Cut a Glock into 13 Equal Pieces or something. I love that track. It's so good. And it's in 13 equal. And it's so poppy too. And I was like, I can't believe this is in 13 equal. It like sounded almost like the opposite of what I would expect from 13. In fact, I didn't even believe it was in 13. I had to like go and check. Like I got a 13 equal tuning and I started like figuring out some of the parts by ear. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it really is in 13 equal. And then I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give this tuning another shot. And I kind of binged 13 for a while. And yeah, I was enjoying it a lot. I couldn't like seal the deal with it. Like I couldn't like write a full thing, but I had a lot of like cool little parts here and there and a lot of fun like improvising and stuff. But it actually, I almost feel like it'd be a good excuse to get more into like 26 equal.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't know. 26 it's like that feels a little more balanced to me, where like you could lean into the 13 aspect of it, but then maybe have somewhere to go that's a little more. But I don't know. Limeboiler didn't have a problem with it. You know, it's just I think we all have like our limitations and stuff and comfort zones, and for me, it's really hard to use like a tuning like 13, which feels so unstable all the time, and actually like form something out with it and like finish a piece. Like it's really hard for me to do.
Right, because the tonality of it is kind of a different thing, because you're not able to use the standard like major scale or anything. So I guess you like get into a mode where, I mean, I get into this situation where like if I'm trying to make something unstable sound like a tonic chord, I have to kind of make things a bit more repetitive and obvious on a gestural scale. It's kind of like how the first thing you would do if you want to write in a polymeter or a polyrhythm is to just put that in verbatim and not some kind of subset of it for subtlety. That sort of thing. I don't know, I guess your ear can be easily tricked by a variety of tunings, and I think that's really neat. Kind of like how if such and such person tries this tuning, it'll sound like, you know, something you've never heard before or considered, which is also a feeling that I experience a lot when listening to music of particular tunings.
The way we talk about tuning is kind of funny because we don't talk about 12 equal like this. 12 equal is almost just like a substitute for just music.
Right.
And when you talk about just music, like music is so varied. There's so much you can do with music. Where in everybody's hands it's different. But for some reason when we talk about tuning, we like really oversimplify it. Even though every tuning is like at least hypothetically as diverse as 12 equal.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think you have people who want to write in, a pitch language that they are familiar with, or they want to write in some other kind of pitch language, but I think it's hard to write in a lot of those, and if you only write in a few of them, it's hard to kind of zoom out and figure out what it's like to say, like, oh, I don't know, write something where all the chords have, like, parallel neutral ninths, just, there's a random idea that no one's done, probably, but feels like it should have been by now. You never know. So there's just like a million crazy ideas you can think of, but in 12-tone equal temperament, if you think of any scale idea or melody idea or harmonic idea at all, somebody has done it. And the way I like to put it is like this. It's not like in 12 equal there are chord combinations that haven't been explored yet from like a technical perspective, but like all the vibes have been done. Like if you take like a 30-second snapshot of something and you try and like figure out harmonically and melodically the kind of feelings it's giving you, all those that are from 12, those have been done. I feel like it's hard to expand in all these different directions at once because, like, even within 12 equal, there's just such radically different styles of writing and tonicization and all of that. And when you just add a microtonal dimension to that, it's just explodes in possibility. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. Overwhelming.
In like on the online groups and stuff, I can mostly have conversations now with other people, and a lot of times I'm answering people's questions and stuff.
Yeah.
So it seems like I maybe know something to maybe somebody who's new to that group or whatever, but I'm still struggling to do like really basic stuff, even in the tunings that I've spent a lot of time, like even in like 22, which I've spent a lot of time in, but not compared to 12 equal though. I mean, I played piano for like almost 20 years before I even started doing this stuff, so
yeah,
it's like, I don't know. Honestly, like I was just thinking about this the other day, like I'm not even that comfortable like doing stuff in minor keys microtonally. Like I've been so like focused on that, like kind of those like interwoven like diatonic scales thing. Always been looking at that from a major perspective, like a major scale basically.
Right.
And like kind of major-ish modes like Lydian. Whereas, yeah, I've like barely even looked at minor stuff at all. And then like I have a hard time deciding like when, except for in like a few rare instances, when like a sub-minor is preferable to like a regular minor chord.
Right.
And like I don't have a lot of opinions on that stuff. It's all just very mysterious to me. And then there's like countless chords that are like, don't have names, or people might give them like obscure names. Like I've given all the 22 equal triads like names based off temperaments they coincide with, but
oh yeah,
they're like they're not necessarily chords people are using, or using often. And but yeah, even ignoring all that, it's like if your basic triads are in 22 equal are subminor, minor, major, and super major, it's like that. I'm still confused on the subminor and minor.
Yeah. It's a valiant effort to go through and name everything. I used to be like that, and now I've given up on it because there's too many possibilities. But I think that even if people don't use each other's naming systems, it's still really valuable to do that in order for yourself. Like, now that you've done that, you've come out the other side, and you just have all of these sort of options that you've explored, and you can access them a bit more intelligently now that you've enumerated the possibilities.
I can give them a name. And I just know from playing piano, when you can name a group of notes, it makes it just easier to think about.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, and also that's why I value like kind of naming simple harmonic objects or whatever, like a chord
Yeah.
or an interval. Like the simpler it is, the more it should have some kind of title, I feel like. Yeah.
Simple wins the day, although complex would be. I think some people go for complex because, from a world building perspective, you get the person who's the other people interested in your little world because they're trying to figure it out. But simple is actually more utilitarian.
Yeah. That's what you're saying, yeah.
So it's a bit of a battle there based on
like it's intrigue, kind of like Lamplight has that like system of chord naming that is like,
oh yeah,
it's basically like synonymous with like 11 limit JI, but like different names,
right, because of their language. You
kind of have to go in and like decode it and figure out what it all means,
Right. Yes.
Because it's not standardized. That is an interesting thing. I think it's cool because it draws people in,
Right.
But just thinking about like how much jargon do we need? Do we need like 7 names for the same thing?
Right. Exactly. We don't. We don't. Just use the simplest name. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we might be able to talk a little bit about your streaming setup and some of your music. As to other subjects. I know that we haven't really gone over this in advance in any way, but I'd love to just know about some of the scales that you're using in a few of your songs. Because I actually did something where I was listening to your music and I realized that I recognized it from earlier. One that I remembered was your piece in 37. What is it called? Oh, Sufficiently Terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has this like this like cool like dissonant like backwards sound in it, and it sounds kind of like minor seconds that are in parallel. Yeah, I'm seeing in the description I used a dual fifth scale in one section, thanks Abnormality, and diasem in another, thanks Fitzgerald. Delightful.
Yes, so that I don't know if you call it a piece or it's just an electronic thing. It's kind of like a beat, really, I guess.
Yeah, it's great. The track opens and you have wicked chords that sound like they're diatonic, but they're secretly drifting, and then there are other notes that come in and they're a bit dissonant and shimmery with it, but I also can't quite tell what they're doing, which is great. And then you have that part that like comes in with the bass and the like that kind of thing.
So like with that particular track,
yeah,
some of it I just had like 37 equal on a MIDI roll.
Yeah.
Or piano roll. But then also those scales that I mentioned in the description.
Yeah.
Those were subset Scala files that I used.
Oh, okay. So you had both approaches going at once. You don't often hear about that, I don't think. That's interesting.
I did, yeah. I used to do that a lot more than I do now. But I did that there for sure.
Another thing that's interesting about the scales you mentioned in the description is...
Oh, this is
I suppose I wouldn't know how to construct them just from knowing the names, because I know diasem is like a ground scale name, so it's like has 3 different step sizes maybe, and a dual fifth scale. I don't know what that would mean other than the scale has 2 fifths in it, which is already exciting, but I wonder what the other parts of the scale would be, or what kind of intervals you would get. Maybe something with, some really small steps where... imitating the dual fifth step of like 1/37th of an octave. I mean, I guess I'm wondering at which points you used the scales you mentioned in the description, and or what the scales are.
Oh, okay. So in 37, the best fifth is sharp by like, I can't remember, I think 13 cents or something.
Oh, hold on. I'm about to do some Zen Harmonic Wiki Googling, but Zen Harmonic Wiki isn't like present in the Google, so you search it and then... Wait, it worked! I was dragging it, so it heard me and was like, I'm going to make Steven a liar.
Nice.
And that was great. I'm going to pretend that it doesn't work every time I Google it now.
It's like 7/13 does the sharp one.
Oh yeah, you nailed it. 713.5. Actually, you'd have to round it up to 714 if you...
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. And then the flat one. But there's another fifth. It's the 681 cent one.
Which isn't that bad of a fifth.
No, so because there's 2 like not too bad fifths, basically, we say that it's dual fifth. because you could use either one. But basically, like, a normal diatonic scale, one way of kind of explaining it, like structurally, is that like you could start on some note, you could stack a fifth on top of that 6 times. So if you started on C, you get G, D, A, E, B.
Yeah.
I guess F sharp after that. If you octave reduced all that, you'd have like a C Lydian scale, or if you started on G, it'd be G, or if you did the same thing starting on F, I guess you'd have a C major scale. But if you do that in 37 equal, you can get a scale stacking the sharp fifth, and that's super pyth. And the issue with that scale, well, it's actually like ultra pyth, I guess, because it's like the third is so sharp and the fourth is so flat that those notes are almost interchangeable.
Yeah.
They're almost to the point where you could use one or the other. So it's really not a great third, like not a great major third.
It's quite exaggerated.
Yeah. At a dual fifth scale, basically you just alternate the fifth. So you do the 7/13 cent, then the 6/80 cent, then the 7/13, and so on.
Why have I never thought of that?
And then
People have even told me that.
Yeah, you'd octave reduce that. Another tuning you might do that in is like 23 equal.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And you get a cool like diatonic scale in that. Actually, like Paleac came up with a name for these scales called hobbled scales.
Oh, right.
Where when you alternate the fifth and a 23 equal, you get like a major scale where like, and I actually think like Joe Manzo, when he was on your podcast, he was talking about doing this in 37.
Oh, yes.
He would alternate the fifths.
Because Joe explored 37 in the Cog Sisters. That's right.
Yeah,
Something I keep forgetting. Great blast from the past there.
Yeah, he's talking about this same scale in 37, basically. Like in 12 equal, like I think the most straightforward explanation of this, like in 12 equal, you go 2-2-1-2-2-2-1. Those are the Ito steps, right?
Yeah.
If you were in 24 equal, you just double that, right? It'd be 4-4-2, 4-4-4-2. Now, if you're in 23 equal with one of these dual fifth scales, you have a couple options. One, it's like 4-4-2, 4-4-4-1.
Ah.
And the other one's 4-4-1, 4-4-4-2.
Ah.
So like this, like the half steps can be, have to be different sizes, but they can be in either position.
That's so interesting because I've actually thought of doing these kinds of scales, but I never thought of them as being generated by alternating dual fifths. I just thought of them purposely by taking scales that are good for EDOs that are good for a diatonic scale and just being off by one so that you have to have uneven sizes. So there's multiple ways to get there, which is interesting.
Yeah, a lot of tunings, some tunings are really good. Like if you think of almost any like weird, what most people call weird EDO, like 23, basically any tuning without like a obvious good fifth, like 23, 37, 25, they pretty much all have like dual fifth scales that work. They kind of, when you get small enough, like 13 equal doesn't have a good dual fifth scale, but
right,
and neither does like 9 equal and stuff like that. But
right, 9 is just so darn small.
Yeah. But it's an interesting way to like approach these kinds of tunings, because you have like it's like a quasi diatonic scale. Like it sort of has the contour of a diatonic scale, and you can sort of, you can get stuff that sounds like diatonic harmony and melody, but it's just a little off kilter.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I based on the intro of Sufficiently Terrible, my thought is that like, since we hear some things that sound a bit 5 limit, that maybe you're going for diasim, since the dual fifth scale would result in maybe super Pythagorean major thirds, but then like minor seconds of unequal sizes, is my thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I just plugged stuff in piano roll. People did send me scales, but like I wasn't like very aware of like the structure and stuff.
Well, I love how you subvert expectation in this one, because you're arpeggiating triads, and so maybe you're making people think that, like, oh, we're going to add to the arpeggiated triads and enter, like, a triad verse, and then you detune it. So that's one expectation. And then afterwards, when you expect it to go somewhere building on that, it just hits this, like, dark beat with, like, a sick bass, and there's, like, a picture of a person at the computer, and you're like, oh, this is basement horror now. Oh, this is great. Yeah. But it works so well, and it feels like that's where the track should go. Like, it doesn't feel random. So I thought it was great to layer those expectations that way.
It's kind of like a goofy, silly, almost like a really vanilla sounding intro, but just like a slightly off kilter because it's in 37.
Yeah. I guess I'm not sure if you know this, but I'd love to ask what causes the detuning around. Let's see how many seconds in. Oh, like 8 seconds in, that second part. If you are like, maybe like harmonizing it with notes that are just a 37th of an octave off, or if you like cranked up some detuning setting, or what you're doing. So you
said like 8 seconds?
Yeah, because you get like a arpeggiated vamp in like the first 8 seconds, and then when 8 seconds hits, you have that same vamp, but it's got detuning in it. That's really nice, which also reminds me of staffcirc albums.
Oh yeah, I believe it was just has detune on it, like the second part.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just like standard like oscillator detune. Yeah. Nothing fancy there. Yeah.
That's cool. That's good stuff. Well, for all of you who are listening, definitely listen to Gordon's microtonal music. He's got a playlist online, and Sufficiently Terrible is in 37 tone equal temperament. He also has many others as well. I was listening to some things in 22 earlier. I think I was listening to Cumulus, and then Bad Drums too.
Yeah.
And Paralyzed in Motion. Oh, I've commented on all of these. That's interesting.
Yes.
I forgot that I commented on them. Oh, Crumb also in 22 EDO. I liked the bass line in that one. I wonder, does that one have any special weird chords in it? I get the distinct feeling that, like, you've got, like, a distorted bass line going on, and then there's something on the inside that's just a little bit non-kosher, but it's not salient enough that a person who hates interesting chords can complain about it. It's just like a feeling you get, and it's very well done, but I don't quite know what you did there.
That might have been my first, like, microtonal song, like, where I sang on it.
You were singing on it, yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely just put everything in piano roll. Like, I didn't know anything really about 22 equal.
Yeah.
Like, this was before I knew about, like, super pipe and nice tone and all that other stuff. The only synth I had that would work on my old computer was a Surge, pretty much.
Yeah, so this is like proto-Gordon.
This was one of my earliest. Like, before that, I did some stuff in, like, 24, and I think, like, Bull and Pierce, maybe. But, yeah, this was, like, one of my earlier things that I wrote. And, in fact, I remember when I shared it on the Microtonal Facebook group, someone was complaining that it basically was an F-sharp major, and I could have just done it in 12 equal.
Oh yeah, it is an F-sharp, Mixolydian.
I see, yeah.
I don't know, man. That's funny, because it's one of those that, like, it sounds microtonal when you hear it, but technically, categorically, you could translate it into 12, and, like, you might not lose things that you would think of right away, vertically and horizontally, but when you add up the bigger picture, you would lose a lot.
You definitely lose, like, a lot of the quirkiness in it.
Yeah. There's stuff on the inside that's, like, implying that scale, but it's moving around in a funny way. And, like, the bass line sounds very whole-steppy, and the marimba part sounds very whole-steppy. But it's, like, it's that inside part that's kind of sneaky there, and you don't quite know what the intonation of the extra notes are.
That was all written by ear, and like I had a really hard time telling if the bass was in tune with the chords.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like you would go back and forth between an Edo step, and it was like, is this the right one or is this one? And I just kept going back and forth until I chose one, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And but yeah, so I mean, I think it's just, kind of basic triads and stuff for the most part.
It's very modal, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a good voice too. I really like your piano album actually. The one
Thank you.
Frenemies one.
Yeah. I want to do that kind of stuff, but microtonal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's taking me a long time to get to that. But I have like one song in 22 equal that I play on Linnstrument and I sing along to. And thank you. I feel like a terrible singer, by the way. Like, I don't, anytime someone compliments my voice, I'm just, my first thought is, I'm definitely way more comfortable like playing piano.
Yeah. That's cool that you still write in 12 equal. I think it's a relatively non-conventional choice among microtonalists, unless they like are writing things for people and they want those things to be played. And I've definitely thought about that recently too. I don't know if so you probably don't feel like you've really given up 12 equal.
Well, it's not that I actually don't write much in 12 equal now. It's just that those songs have been around. I think when I wrote this album I was involved in microtonality, but like I was already so invested in the stuff I've been doing on piano, writing songs. So I was still doing that.
Right.
And if I could find more time, I probably would write more at the piano. But now I'm pretty much exclusively on my computer at the Lumitone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying, I feel way more at home on the piano.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get to that point with like the Lumitone and with some of this other stuff so I can make a microtonal. But yeah, I mean, but I really honestly, I haven't been writing much in 12 equal, just a riff here and there.
I think it's really hard for people to get to that point where like the Lumitone or some kind of microtonal enhanced instrument feels as familiar as the one they really were trained on in 12 equal. I know I certainly haven't gotten to that point. It definitely always feels foreign.
It's such a huge investment of time to get into this stuff.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I really think like if you're very opinionated, which it's sort of paradoxical because I feel like to get into this stuff, it helps to be open-minded. But if you want to make swift progress as a microtonalist, I almost feel like it's one of the biggest favors you could do for yourself is just have a strong opinion on tuning and just do one.
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, that's probably ideal. Just have a favorite tuning and just stick with that and just learn it.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
have
just
one.
dive into it hardcore, and that because that will just shorten the time it takes for you to actually like just come to just get the technique down and start writing with it. And
if you have one and treat it like 12, it's going to feel more normalized and you can focus on those other aspects. Do you I know that you have the channel XENPILLED and you are also Gordon Wery. Do you separate microtonal work and Gordon Wery cleanly along the line of like XENPILLED, versus your name, or is there kind of like a mixture, or how do your aliases work, if I may ask?
I think of XENPILLED more as the name of the channel.
Yeah.
Like I don't fault people for like referring to me by that, since that's just normal internet kind of behavior.
Yeah.
I do kind of separate them because I feel like the microtonal thing has it has a niche audience. There are people who are really interested in this stuff. And so like when I'm streaming, I try to make it a point to do microtonal stuff. And occasionally I'll get into 12 equal stuff on stream, but I always feel bad about it.
Hmm.
And a lot of times people complain too when I do. And I don't blame them. In an ideal world, it would just be Gordon Wery and the Gordon Wery show and whatever he feels like doing, whether that's microtonal or not. And in most cases, it would be microtonal, but I think in the long term, there will be less of a maybe there will be less of a division in how I like brand that stuff. But for right now, I think it's just kind of how I've been doing it. But I'm gonna put like my 12 equal album up on my YouTube channel and on XENPILLED, and I'm not gonna hide the other stuff that I'm doing, but but branding it in that way, like people associate me with microtonality now, and I don't think that's a bad thing because I love talking about this stuff, sharing this stuff. I don't mind being seen in that way.
Yeah, it's really fun. And it's funny now too that as an online audience, microtonalists have gotten to a point where now if something 12 equals put out by a seasoned microtonalist, they complain.
When you're into this stuff, it scratches a certain itch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't want to. It can be disappointing to encounter more 12 equal stuff sometimes, even though like the music's probably awesome. And
yeah.
But it's like it's just not scratching that particular itch.
Yes, those of you listening to this should check out Doom Salad as well, another project of Gordon's.
Yes, and we've done some like I've played some microtonal stuff on the last couple albums, but they're all on 12 equal.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
sort
really
of like
good stuff.
Sort of like a hybrid thing where like it's like our last album was all like improv.
Yeah.
But I was like doing like 24 equal stuff and like these kind of like JIs sort of scales.
Yeah.
Just on my keyboard. And then I went in, we don't have a bassist, we're just a 3-piece. I went in and I actually added some bass parts to it.
Oh, cool.
And those are like in 24 equal.
Yeah. That's cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe we could talk about your stream setup and how technologically you get everything prepared, because I am jealous of your stream game. Personally, I would love to be able to just like have me on a screen and like the Lumitone is on a screen and my face is there and I can go into my DAW and do whatever I want and like all the audio works and everything. So like you use OBS, right? Like
Yes.
how does it go for you? How long does it take you to set up? How did you figure it out? I'm really curious.
I don't feel like it's been that hard. I don't think I have I think my setup is pretty bare bones. Like it's not fancy.
Yeah.
I do spend a little time like making sure like everything is sort of like arranged in the window the right way. But the thing is like once you set it up, it's there. I mean, it'll break. At least for me, it always like breaks randomly. Like little things, I just have to end up readjusting them for inexplicable reasons. I must be like hitting a button or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, once you have it set up, you can save like your templates and stuff. And as far as like switching the cameras, I mean, you just have to have 2 cameras, you know.
Yeah.
I even like I consider getting like a 3rd camera and a 3rd monitor because it would make things easier. But yeah, 2 monitors is like almost like when I first started streaming, I just had 1 monitor, and someone like convinced me to get a 2nd one. And that was a huge, like, improvement.
Yeah, I'll bet that was great, being able to, like,
Yes.
have people look in on the Lumitone while you've got your face over there, and then when you play something, you don't have to tilt the camera over to it and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I had to set it up. Like, I have, like, a mic stand with, like, a phone clip.
Yeah.
And it's just there all the time in the same spot. So when I want
Yeah.
to stream, I just put the phone in the clip, and I have to just slightly adjust it so that everything's in frame.
So your phone is what you're using to pan down on the Lumitone, and then are you using your computer monitor for your face? like your computer's webcam, or are you using like you're using a
No,
second camera
I
for
have a
that?
webcam as well.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Um, and then do you?
It's a
Okay,
Logitech Brio or whatever.
okay,
It's
yeah.
like 150 bucks or something.
I think I used to have one of those. Oh no, I had one that was like that, but it had its own special software that was very difficult to use, so I stopped using it and sold it.
No,
Um,
this one's plug and play. It's just yeah,
yeah.
it's nothing to it.
So then, are you getting both of those camera signals? Do they like? Do they go into like a certain app? Like, how do you get them to synchronize and do everything at the same time? And
I do use this program called Camo sometimes, which like I can do adjustments of my camera feed with that, and sometimes like my but like I have a Mac and I have an iPhone,
yeah.
so like my computer will connect to my phone automatically.
Oh, right. I see.
So the iPhone camera is easy to use, but sometimes it doesn't work the way I want, so I end up using Camo anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, and then yeah, so I've yeah, and I have like this program that like puts the chat messages because I simulcast to Twitch and YouTube.
That's the next thing I was going to ask about. How you do both at the same time?
It's just some program called Social Stream.
Okay.
It's just some app I downloaded, and it's pretty easy to use. I mean, it everything with OBS, it's like if you don't know how to do it, you have to look it up.
Yeah.
But once you look it up, it's not, in my experience, it's not that hard to set up. It's just, maybe 10, 30 minutes depending on what it is. And then, like with your cameras and stuff, it's about having the cameras, and then how long it's going to take is, can you set it in one place and just let it sit there all the time? That's what I try to do as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I try to not have to move like sometimes I do move like if I do a jam or if I'm playing a lot of Linnstrument, I'll take my webcam, which is usually on my face. I'll point it at the Linnstrument. And it takes me a second to set up. That's why I kind of want to get a third camera.
Right.
Because then I could just get like a Linnstrument camera.
Yeah, of course. The programs you mentioned, Camo and Social Streams, sound like ones that I tried to download to do the same thing as you, except the programs that I downloaded didn't work. So I guess I just wasn't trying enough of them.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So you're one of
Yeah.
the rare Linnstrument slash Lumitone owners. I'd love to hear a comparison of the instruments and what you feel like some of the pros and cons are, because the Linnstrument, I think, has several pros that maybe aren't talked about enough.
Linnstrument is great. I
Yeah.
wish people talked about it more, honestly. For microtonal stuff, specifically. Kite Gudritis, kite guitar, kite. We all know Kite.
Everyone knows Kite, yeah.
Yes, he made this amazing custom firmware for the Linnstrument that allows you to play in any equal division of the octave from I think it's from 5 to 55 or 7 to 55 or something.
Nice.
And you can color code it and do custom layouts, and you can do it all on the fly. I can actually show you a little bit of it if you want to see it.
Yeah, sure. If you're equipped to do that, I'd love to see it.
Yes.
And I can hear that too. Piano
All right.
sound. C
Yeah.
major sound.
Yes. So that's that nice tone
Oh,
scale.
nice tone. Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
22 I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then super pyth would be like,
I see you put in more effort to play Super Pipe, so it looks like that layout is built for nice tone, isn't it?
it definitely lines up with the major and the minor chords more nicely than the super major and the sub minor.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, this firmware is so cool. So this is the Edo selection screen, and you just scroll through. If I wanted to do 19,
Oh, yeah.
you could just choose 19, and then you can choose the offsets right here. So if you wanted it to be 3 and 2, and now we have Bose and K in 19. And this actually, I have it set up where it doesn't, but it'll actually tune everything for you too.
Wow. What?
Yeah, actually,
That's crazy.
Let me pull up Piano Tech and just keep it in 12, and then I'll just retune it with this.
Yay.
Just so I can show you.
We're about to see a microtonal magic trick. Hold on to your hats.
I think this will. I don't usually work this way, but it does work this way. So I think. So now. So that's
Nice.
a 19, and then if I switch to 17, and do Bows and Cane 17. All right.
Yeah.
And back to 19, 3 and 2. They look the same, which is funny, but
Yeah, that is funny.
you can color code these though.
The fact that it retunes for you means that for once, you know, you can be at the instrument and change things instead of messing around on the computer to change your tuning.
Yes, and you can control like hardware if it's supports MPE,
Right.
and you could retune hardware. But yeah, and you can color code everything like to like the Linnstrument. The Linnstrument has like a set number of colors it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can, just recolor it like that.
That's cool.
So now if I go back to 17, it's different colors. than
Yeah.
19. So yeah, it's really cool. So you can just do all that on the fly. As long as your like synth is like MPE compatible, it works. And I've experimented with like so many different tunings using this.
Yeah.
And at first it didn't have the retuning built in, but it still had the layout generator.
Yeah.
So just like load up the scala file or whatever tune file, and then come up with layouts. And I had this for like a year before I got the Lumitone.
Yeah.
So I already had a lot of experience like just doing like different layouts and stuff.
That's awesome.
And I did a lot of like exploring 22 equal on this thing. And but yeah, what's cool about the instrument is that like you have pitch bend, and like you wouldn't do that with a piano sound necessarily, but like when you're playing with your synths and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's got the Lumitone also has like polyphonic pressure, but this has that as well, and it has, because MPE, like if you go like up or down,
Yeah.
let me get a patch that actually uses that.
So is that the Linnstrument's going to retune any synth that's MPE capable that's just like open on your computer essentially?
Yes, it just does it. Yeah.
That's really incredible.
I think this sound. I don't know if that was a good example.
Sounds pretty cool.
But you can do really, let me show you some Zebra stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully this still works, because they just updated Zebra.
What would be like a short list of like synthesizers you use for microtonality that you consider really useful? I heard you mention Zebra and Pigments, and
Yes.
Surge, right?
I don't use Surge much anymore. I used Surge largely because it was like all my computer could handle.
Yeah.
But like Zebra's awesome. This is Zebra.
Whoa.
So yeah, if I push in, changes the sound, and then if I go like up and down, it has like, it changes the sound based on that too, somewhat.
That's incredible. And you can like program whether that has detuning or not. That's a neat synth.
Yes. It does a lot. Zebra is like probably my favorite. But yeah, Zebra, Pigment, Serum, Vital is a great free one. Surge is a great free one. There's also Dexed, or some people call it DXed.
Oh, right.
It's like a FM synthesizer. It's free.
I forgot about that one. It
supports microtuning. That one's really cool. I think FM synthesis is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really giving the best demo of this thing, but we'll have to take my word for it. Like, what's cool about the Linnstrument is that it's very expressive, and you can play really expressive stuff with like pitch bends and where you don't have to like move the whole like pitch wheel and all that. So like every voice is independent because it's MPE.
Right.
And with this custom firmware, I wouldn't recommend it for like huge tunings, but you can get a bigger instrument than this. I have the smaller version.
Oh yeah, Kite has the bigger one, and he's showed me all of this stuff on 12 Camp.
Yeah, so you can do larger tunings if you get the larger one.
Yeah.
But for me, like anything up to like 22 is like pretty comfortable.
Yeah, that's an interesting thinking about the limits of how comfortable it is to have a certain amount of notes per octave in there. Would you say that you're able to fit in more notes per octave comfortably on the Lumitone? I feel like the Lumitone is I feel like the Lumitone is not comfortable but possible past a certain point. Maybe somewhere around 35 to 50 notes or something.
Yeah, I do think like if you get to tunings past a certain size, you're kind of like forced to just do horizontal Bose K. Which is what most people like to use. I actually prefer a lot of different kind of layouts. Like in 31 equal, sometimes I use a horizontal Bose K, but I like to use it's like a Mothra layout basically.
Oh yeah.
And in I do a lot of different layouts than just horizontal Bose K. I kind of feel like that one, it's like good enough that you can play a really large tuning. Like if you want to do like 53, for instance, like you kind of have no other choice really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other stuff you could experiment with, but you're going to lose notes, or I don't know, it's going to be weird.
I feel like also with the Lumitone, I've tried to figure out all the layouts for myself, and the hardest ones are the ones where if you generate a Bose K layout, it only gives you a subset of the tuning, like half of it or a third of it. So like 34 tone equal temperament, I think I was using a tetracot layout, because if you used a Bose K, you'd just get 17 as one half.
Yeah, I used to do the double Bose K with 34, but now I do like a semaphore layout, and it's very like key centric. Like you couldn't comfortably play in all 34 keys.
That's right. That's what I don't like about it. I tried it and then I abandoned it.
But you could do like, C, key of C, and like closely related keys.
Yay, C, the best key ever.
I mean, it's there.
It's a good way to put it.
It's still microtonal.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm not too picky about the key.
Speaking of things in C that are microtonal in a good way, this is so random, but we need to talk about that piece where you're changing tunings a bunch. Real diatonic morphs. Yes, that was very cool.
That one I'm pretty sure was inspired by like conversations you had on this podcast that were like just floating around in my unconscious. That's like the most conceptual thing I think I've done. I'm gonna try to explain this like as quickly as possible with it. If you go back to that idea where like you get a diatonic scale by like stacking fifths, like in 12 equal, if you stack, if you in 12 equal, your fifth is 700 cents, right?
Yeah.
And then like in 22 equal, your fifth is like 707 or something. I can't remember exactly, but it's a little sharp.
It's a 70 something. Yeah, I'll look it up.
So yeah, when the fifth gets sharper, the diatonic scale, the third and the fourth, and also the seventh and the root, they kind of get closer to each other in pitch. So like your thirds get larger, and then if your perfect fifth is smaller, your thirds get smaller, right?
Right.
So, well, basically, like, if you think of a diatonic scale as like a stack of generators, or you can do this with any scale, really, but if you think of a scale as like just an octave reduced stack of generators, you can take that generator and you can manipulate it. You can tune it in some direction. You can make it sharper or make it flatter. And as you make it sharper, the diatonic scale kind of like compresses towards 5 EDO.
Yeah.
Basically. Because like if you're in 37 equal, like your diatonic scale, it's like almost, it sounds close. It's almost like a quasi pentatonic scale.
Right.
Like it almost sounds like a pentatonic with like 2 versions of the third note and 2 versions of the root.
Right.
And then as you make the perfect fifth flatter, if you make that generator flatter, the step sizes of the scale actually equalize. They get closer and closer to 7 EDO.
Yeah.
And so 7 EDO does have a certain generator where if you stack it 7 times, you get a 7-note scale. They're all the same size. And then if you kept going, everything like flips and you get into like anti-diatonic, which you have in like 9 EDO and 16 EDO and 23 EDO. We call that Mavilla. So yeah, the whole idea behind that song, I think I called it something like polysystemy in C or whatever.
Real diatonic morphs.
Yeah. But it's in C major, and I'm just changing it's just that 7-note C major scale, and I'm just retuning the generator as the song progresses. So that's where all the harmonic interest comes from.
Yeah.
So like I literally have like the same MIDI file for like a lot of it, because all I did was like went to Scale Workshop, made the 7-note scale in like 12 equal, and then I made the same 7-note scale in like 31 equal and 22 equal and 37 equal and 7 equal and 23 equal.
Yeah.
And then like going down where like if you make the fifth like super flat, you just get notes that basically just like converge on the root and the tritone.
Oh yeah. Hence the tritony sound of that, like one part of it, and you get to like 2 EDO at the end, right?
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
everything converges to 2 equal. So like in that whole section of the song, that's literally all that's happening, is that the fifth is getting flatter and flatter and flatter, going through all the different tunings until it converges on 2 EDO. But it's still the same 7-note scale. It's just, if it's in 2 EDO, a lot of the notes are redundant.
I was wondering how that happened. I guess it didn't even occur to me that, like, you just kept going. Like, you just went all the way. Because nobody goes all the way, but you did.
Yeah. You can actually keep going, too, but it's just annoying. It just gets annoying at that point.
That's so funny.
It ends up, like, looping back and doing the same thing again, basically, but just, like...
Right.
At that point, nobody even has, like, the language to talk about it. And it's actually, like, the same thing as things that have already happened, just from the other direction.
So does that mean that then when you get to that part where it's 2 EDO, your fifth has gotten so flat that it's now 600 cents?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So the fifth starts, I can't remember where it starts in the section, but the sharpest fifth is where it's at 5 EDO.
Right.
I think that's where it starts, actually. It's 720 cents. And it just progressively gets flatter and flatter and flatter. It's not continuously morphing, but like that's the chord change. It's like the same exact notes, but the scale is from a flatter fifth, and then it repeats the riff with the same, but the fifth is, the generator's flatter.
Yeah, I guess
it just keeps happening over and over again. Yeah.
It seems like 600 actually would seem like kind of a good bound for that, because then you're on a 12 EDO semitone lower, and you absolutely can't interpret it as a fifth because it's a whole semitone lower based on like a 12 equal understanding of things.
Yeah. I used all EDOs, like all EDOs, but you could do it just without, but like to use EDOs, you kind of have to like think of the EDO in a weird way. But
Right.
you can still create the scale by stacking the generator, which is just like some interval out of some EDO.
Yeah, yeah.
So like in RTT, they talk about like it's not the pattern val, it's like the the B or the BB or the BBB or whatever.
Yeah, it's so funny. I am now seeing this comment that says that I'm a big influence on you on this one. And
Yes.
the first thing that I think of is actually not conversations about things like dynamic tonality, but the track on the Emoji album using all equal divisions of 3/1 from 5 to 50. It's just like that where you showcase a bunch of different tunings and you
Yes.
change the generator size, except yours is like fun sawtooth quirkiness. And mine is more like the shrieking of the damned.
Yeah. That's why I attribute you as an influence on that. It's because just like things you talk about on Now and Zen. Yeah. I mean, you're very like concept driven. You're a very concept driven composer, and
Yes.
I've always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I do explore concepts some, but like that particular piece is like not typical for me, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's cool to do sometimes, and especially because you kind of like learn about, especially with like unfamiliar musical concepts, like
Yeah.
just like I don't know.
It's really neat, and it's not like it definitely could have been done in a way that's like more repetitive or feels more like an exercise, like a lot of the microtonal videos out there that cycle through different tunings, but it really has like its own story arc, and like when it gets to certain points, that influences the musical form. So it really feels like a unified composition.
Yeah, I made it a point to put the section where it like just cycles through them all in order. But other than that, I just was like, I want to make a little tune with this, make it sound as good as I can.
Yeah, it's so funny because like I can imagine it in my head, but I'm sure that like I'm not imagining the right thing. I'm imagining like the vibe and like the low C sawtooth hits, and then like upper stuff having like microtonal steps in it and noodling around, but like it wouldn't be what's actually happening, but it's like the vibe is there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the melody is sort of memorable. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember it.
Amazing. I love
If
it.
I heard it, I'd recognize it.
Yeah, yeah. So, you clearly have a lot of production chops here, and playing on instruments and all that kind of stuff. Do you ever show microtonality to your students?
No, never. I've mentioned it to one or two adult students who, when the conversation has kind of gotten into what I'm doing.
Right.
It's not that I'm against talking about it to students.
Yeah.
And I would like to turn people on to it. I mostly teach kids,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's not really like I don't really find a lot of organic segues into it.
Yeah, it's almost impossible, I think, to do it organically. But I do have students who sometimes ask, what if there are more notes? And then I can, like, give a brief explanation. But it's also, I think, so hard to go to microtonality as a tasteful aside and then return, because usually the question you ask is so profound that it merits at least 2 paragraphs, but you somehow have to steer it back to the lesson book or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know that a student's ever asked me about the notes in between the notes. Maybe once or twice.
I do have some students who are obsessed with math. So, like, I have one student on Wednesday. She loves pink and, like, wins the math bowl at her school, and she's just
nice.
adorable. And I got to show her projective tuning space because she was really curious. And she was like, I'm trying to remember what question she asked. Oh, I think I just had projective tuning space on my computer, but I was like going and like getting an unrelated track, and she was like, "What's that?" And so then I showed her, and I like played some of the Lumitone generated notes on Chris Klein's app, and then tried to play the piano notes, and they were slightly off, and she noticed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's neat that you noticed that.
Yeah, of course. I
So
forgot.
did you go on a big rant about it?
It was. I would say it was larger than the average one, but
Yeah.
it was still an acceptable amount of time. I think it ended up being like a little 4-minute detour, and then we got right back to playing, and it was good.
I do talk to some of the other teachers about it sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's mostly to humor myself. They're not really that interested.
Yeah, I've got some people who are more interested in others. I think I've met lots of people who are like really interested to try it. But as you mentioned, since the time investment is so large, I think it's really tough for them to do it in a casual, fun way, like 12 tone equal temperament sorts of things, where like everybody's just already coming to the table understanding what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, somebody was like asking me to jam the other day, and they were like, "Well, it wouldn't be microtonal." like maybe people are scared to invite me to stuff because they're not. They know I'm like obsessed with this stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if people are scared. There was a song that you wanted to show me, right, on with 22 tone equal temperament.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would love to.
I'd love to hear it. And are you playing it on the Linnstrument?
Yeah. This is so I've, on my YouTube channel, there's a playlist with like my microtonal song music. Most of it's instrumental. It's like all electronic. But I've gotten into that stuff more recently, like mostly because of microtonality.
Yeah.
And for years before that, I was playing piano, writing music in like jazz groups, and then a little more recently, I guess in the last 10 years, writing songs and like forcing myself to sing these horrible songs. And that's what that's kind of where I feel like the most comfortable as a, I guess, composer. That's where I feel the most comfortable, just playing piano and writing these terrible songs. Basically just complaining about girls who've rejected me.
That's the life right there.
Yes. What a life it is. Anyway, this is my first time doing this with microtones, where I'm like playing a piano song. I'm using piano tech, but it's in my favorite non-12 tuning, 22 equal. And I wrote it last year sometime. And I actually got to perform this at Microtonal University, which was really cool. Here it is. And this is called Wasting Time. It's in 22 equal. Even if you want to understand, lonely ones, even if they can't meet your demands, breaking trust. I don't need the time, I don't need the way, I just wanna fall apart. Even if you wouldn't hold my hand, that's a start. Don't dare to love me, don't waste your time. I just disappoint. Isn't that the point? Wasting time, wasting time. Even if you listen to the end, there's no rhyme. Even though you're carried, you can't bear the line. So I tell you, heartbreak's fine. Since you love stupid stories, fall asleep to mine, dream about the good times. They don't walk through here, they just disappear. What a wonderful sight. Don't dare to love me, don't waste your time. Live to disappoint, what else is the point? Wasting time, wasting time. Obviously, I'm in love with trying to be someone worthy, drunk on working, high on envy. I need you to cure me. I hope you'll delude me. Sunlit addicts, different dresses, broken flowers, endless hours. I don't wanna tell the time, I don't wanna know what's mine. I don't wanna tell the time, I don't wanna know, I don't wanna know.
Wow!
Thank you.
Great song! So many different colors and shifts and everything.
Thank you.
I really dig that it has like interludes and like an instrumental part, because I think it's so common for these songs to be like chord singing, and then there's none of that, but you really got to show off the instrument a little bit there in the middle.
Yes. No, I love having like an instrumental interlude.
And like that one part where you had like the opening major 7th chord, but then like the root goes up a 22nd of an octave and you have another one. It was really colorful and surprising because you hadn't done that.
Oh, what is that? In the middle? In the middle?
Yeah, it's like the part where you're not singing and you're playing like a little bit more up here.
That?
No. It's like here, I think it was like after like maybe like a verse and another verse, and then you had a part where you were like you were playing the main chord, and then yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay.
What is that change? I have to know.
Yeah, that's this is the major 7, which you mentioned, and then this is like an inverted like F super major chord with the 9 in it.
Oh,
that's how I think of it.
That's great. Oh, that's so cool. You tricked me into thinking it was F sharp. Good job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Awesome.
No. Yeah, and then I mean, sometimes I add in that on the second one.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the same thing. Yeah.
And you had some 11th harmonic moments in there, too, where you're doing, like, the bigger hits in the later part.
At the end, I think, this part.
Oh, yeah, it's super major 3rd there. Yeah, at that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was another one where you had a similar shape, where it's like the vertical row is doing something like it has an 11/8 over the chord versus the 5/4, right? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
I love these chords, yeah.
They're so great. It's such a nice mixture of like 11 limit, like straight concordance, and like the super major 3rd I think is really put on full display, but it doesn't sound... It sounds really emotional. It doesn't sound that dissonant. It's cool how you mix it with... Because I feel like the super major 3rds don't often get mixed with, like, the 11/8 very much.
No, yeah, this part is, yeah, the harmony here I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's good
And yeah,
stuff.
it's that super major with the regular major 7.
Yeah.
It's such a cool sound. I also
Yeah.
like if you do just the regular major chord with the super major 7. Sorry. That one's cool too.
Whoa.
I don't do that in this song.
That was a lot more zen than I thought it would be because I hadn't heard it in your song. Yeah, yeah, like you pointed out.
Yeah, it's not in the song, but it's this one is, and then these. So that's with the sharp 11.
Oh, yeah, like the normal sharp 11 and not the lowered one.
Yeah, so I'm contrasting like the super major with the major 7 with the regular major with the harmonic 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I add the sharp 11 to the super major chord, and then I add the harmonic 11 to the harmonic chord.
This would be a really good song to have written down in a transcription.
Oh yeah, I have the chords written out.
Yeah,
I'll send them to you.
that's so cool. I'd love to nerd out about those if you'd want to send them ever. But yeah,
I'll send them to you for sure.
Neat, great stuff, Gordon. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. Are there any parting thoughts you have? Things like that.
It is a huge honor to be on this podcast, Stephen. Like I seriously, like you are like my gateway to this world. Like this podcast is like such a big deal to me. I've said this many times. I'm going to say it again on your podcast. I've listened to every Now and Zen episode, and I even for a time had the subscription, so I was listening to the bonus episodes too. And most of them I've listened to twice.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time in my car, and it's just like to be able to be immersed in the language, and like I love how like you play so much music on there too, and I've looked up so many artists that you've interviewed, and yeah, I mean it's instrumental for me. As I mentioned at the beginning of this interview, like one of my first like really big like, oh man, this actually seems worth exploring moments with Zen was that Zio Rose interview. And but I mean I've listened to every episode, so
That's so great.
Wow. It's been so cool, and a lot of them are great. And,
I appreciate that so much. I really do.
Yes, so it's a huge honor. Thank you so much for having me on here, and I look forward to hearing what all you do, and also love your music and transcriptions and all that stuff too.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
So,
be sure to check out XENPILLED on YouTube, everyone, as well as Gordon Wery.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you later.
Cool. All right, man. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
The piece you're listening to is XENPILLED's track, Real Diatonic Morphs, Polysystemic / Microtonal on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening to Now in Zen. April showers may bring May flowers. April weather, rain and sunshine both together. More like April XEN-ther. April brings us 2 Zen episodes. We've got XENPILLED here on episode 95 and episode 96, XENTAR. We have a Patreon account where you can support Now in Zen. Thanks so much to our Zen Harmonic patrons, as well as our Zen Harmonic gods, Jacob G., Peter Young, Jundai Bates Kobashigawa, Naren Rattan, Matthew Sheeran, Hector McGuffin, Leland O. Weigel, Amy Coleman, Joe Weigel, and Tina Harmon Carto. Catch you next time on Now in Zen.